Hello, and I just wanted to take a moment to show you how to even access the Vlab in case you're not familiar with that, but you can just put in the web address academy.ahima.org, and then in the very right-hand corner you can do the login or register, and at this point you would enter your information to access the Vlab, and then it'll bring you back to that page where we logged in. So to get to the Vlab, we come to My Learning, and any class that you're enrolled in will come up here. So the very first one for me is the Vlab, so I'm going to open that up. And this has all of the applications that can be used inside of the Vlab. The three that we use in the HCAS 129 course are Dr. Chrono, Vista, and at the bottom, Argo. So let me start with Vista. The Vista is simulations that are already pre-done. So it's a previous EHR that actually the VA health centers used to use before they moved to Epic. And these are all just demo type activities, but it gets the students looking for data, retrieving data, entering data, compiling data. So it's still a good use of time and activities to get them familiar with an EHR and what they might see. I went ahead and downloaded all of the Vista facts and the simulations. So I'm not going to click to open those right now. I'm just going to open them up on my screen. So the first thing that you would want your students to do is click on this Vista FAQs, which is this document right here. And I would make sure that you go over this with them just so that they're fully aware. There are 14 interactive simulations. This is the time allowance that they recommend. Of course, some might take longer, some might go through quicker. But so for all 14, it should take them a total of 2 hours and 13 minutes. And it's broken down by all the 14 different simulations. And then this part 3 is just some troubleshooting. If there's a reason they're not opening, it tells the students how to use Adobe Flash or install it if they do not have it. Here it tells them how to do it if they have Chrome. Here it tells them if they have Firefox. And finally, if they have Internet Explorer or Edge. So again, I would go over this document or show that document to them. Then the other document that we see on the Vlab is the Vista simulations. And so when you click on that, another file comes up which has all the simulations, so the 14 simulations. So I'm just going to click open the data retrieval one. And you guys will want to provide to them the questions that they will be asked along the way. So these questions right here are in a doc format that they won't want to answer as they're going through the simulation. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So again, these are the questions that they will have to answer as they go through and submit for their grade. So the first question, what is the access code? And it tells us right here. Type HIM1 in the access code box and press enter. So I'm going to type HIM1, type enter. Type HIM1 in the verify code and press enter. So I'm going to do HIM1, enter. Now it tells me to click OK. So if I go back to that data retrieval PDF screen or document, it tells us the first two I just did. What is the access code? It was HIM1. What is the verify code? HIM1. And then you as the instructor will have the answer key. So when you're grading these, this is the answer key that you will be able to grade with. But all of these answers, the students will have to pay attention to what's on the screen, or sometimes even look through the data on the screen, in this application, especially data retrieval, to find the data. So if we go to the next question, if we come back to our Vista application, it tells me select the patient by entering 70 patient and press enter. So I'm going to type right here 70 patient and hit enter. Then it tells me to click OK. Double click the box with the patient's name. So it's very user friendly. It tells the students or tells the user exactly what they should be doing. Now it's asking me what's the patient's phone number. So here's my data retrieval. I have to find our patient's phone number. So it's right here. Phone is 222-555-8235. So I'm just going to see if I do it incorrectly, if I can get past the next screen. So if I do it incorrectly, it won't let me go past. It tells me it's incorrect. So if I fix that to the 5, there we go. I can go to the next screen. Now it's asking me for the patient's primary eligibility. So again, the student is going to have to read through the data, understand what they're reading. Right here, about halfway through, primary eligibility. It says SC less than 50%. So I'm going to type SE less than 50%. Then it says not verified. Has the patient's insurance eligibility been verified? No. Does the patient have future appointments scheduled? So as you can see, we just have to go through, the students will have to just read everything, and they can't get to the next screen if they enter the wrong information. So here, does the patient have future appointments scheduled? Right at the very bottom, it says future appointments, none. So if I put yes and hit enter, it won't let me go past. So the students should be able to recheck what they're doing as they're going through this activity. And I can't type none, so I have to type no, right? Now it tells me to click close. Review the cover sheet information for this patient. So now it's asking me if you can look at the bottom, there's all the tabs for what we would see in the patient's chart, right? The cover sheet, problems, meds, orders, notes, consults, surgery, discharge summary, labs, and reports. So list one active problem for this patient. So we're on the cover sheet because that's the tab that's open. All our active problems are right here. Hypertension, hyperlipidemia, acute myocardial infarction, chronic systolic heart failure, diabetes, mellitus type 2. So let's just put in hypertension. Hit enter. List one thing patient's allergic to. Well, we have penicillin or chocolate. So hopefully you have the gist of how Vista works, but each module will be like this, where they just go through and answer questions. It'll prompt them on the screen. All the information's there. It's not hidden. It's not overwhelming, or it should be really intuitive for the students, and I think pretty easy to use. So again, all of the 14 modules, I have the PDF questions for you, as well as all the answer keys for each of these. Okay, and that's Vista in a nutshell. And then the students will go back to AHIMA in the Vlab. For some reason, it logged me out. And go back to the Vlab and complete the link inside the Vlab. When they're all done, right here under activities, the Vista simulation activity. So there's 11 questions in here that they would answer when they're all done. So I answered some incorrect and some correct so that you could see, but you would want the students to do this when they're all done with all 14. And you might even want to give them these questions in advance, or if you don't want them to record their activity in the virtual lab. I guess that's something I'm not sure if the college wants that done or not. The virtual lab activity just records how they do on questions, where if you want the simulations graded, that's the answer key that I provided to you. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope this was helpful.